It was a Wednesday morning like any other. Emily Jameson had just poured herself a second cup of coffee and was getting ready for another long day at the marketing firm in downtown Portland. The sun had barely broken through the clouds when her phone rang. The caller ID read, First Union Bank. She frowned. She didn't have any accounts there. Hello? She answered cautiously. Good morning, is this Emily Jameson? A professional male voice responded. Yes, speaking. I'm calling on behalf of First Union Bank regarding a delinquent mortgage account in your name. The outstanding balance is currently $383,000. We've attempted to contact you multiple times regarding payments. Emily blinked, her mind stalling. I think you have the wrong person. I've never taken out a mortgage with your bank. The man hesitated. According to our records, you are the primary borrower on a home loan issued 8 months ago. The property is located in Beaverton, Oregon. Are you denying knowledge of this mortgage? Beaverton? Emily hadn't been there in over a year. Her stomach turned. Yes, she said firmly. I never applied for that loan. This must be a mistake. The man paused again, then his voice shifted slightly. If you believe this was done fraudulently, we recommend filing a police report and submitting a claim with our fraud department. In the meantime, we are required to continue collections until a determination is made. The call ended, but the words kept ringing in her ears. $383,000 mortgage, in your name. Panic gave way to confusion. Then anger. She dug into her drawer and pulled out a legal pad, scribbling down everything she remembered from the call. After 20 minutes of online searching and another call to the bank's fraud unit, Emily got the details she needed, including the address. Her heart sank when she saw it. It was her sister Kaylee's address. Emily sat in stunned silence. Kaylee, her 24-year-old sister who hadn't held a stable job in years. Who still lived off their parents and treated life like one big party. How the hell had Emily's name ended up on Kaylee's house? Her hands shook as she opened her laptop and logged into her credit report. The mortgage was there, under her social security number. Official. Real. This wasn't just some clerical error. Someone had used her identity. The next call she made wasn't to the police. It was to her parents. Her mother answered after 2 rings. Hey, sweetheart. How are you? Emily didn't even say hello. Why is there a $383,000 mortgage in my name for Kaylee's house? The pause on the other end felt eternal. Then came her father's voice, trying to sound calm. Listen, we didn't want to burden you with this. Kaylee needed help, and the bank wouldn't approve her on her own. So you used my name? Without asking me? Emily's voice cracked. Do you have any idea what you've done? We were going to tell you eventually, her mom said softly. We just needed time to sort things out. Emily felt her pulse pounding in her ears. This is identity theft. You committed fraud against your own daughter. Emily, don't be dramatic, her father snapped. We're family. Families help each other. No, she said coldly. Families ask each other. They don't forge signatures and steal social security numbers. She hung up before she could hear another excuse. For the first time in her life, Emily felt something break inside her, a bond she had always believed was unshakable. Now, it was fractured beyond recognition. And she wasn't going to let them get away with it. The drive to her parents' house felt like a slow burn. Emily's knuckles were white as she gripped the steering wheel, replaying the call in her head over and over again. Every excuse. Every justification. The way they had spoken to her like it was no big deal, like her identity was just another tool they could borrow and bend. By the time she pulled into the driveway of her childhood home in Lake Oswego, the fury in her chest had hardened into something colder. She wasn't here for answers. She was here for the truth, and for justice. The door opened before she even knocked. Her mother stood there, hands nervously clasped, eyes already glossed with guilt. Emily, she said softly. Please don't come in angry. Let's just talk. Emily brushed past her. Talking is what people do before committing a federal crime, Her father sat on the couch, arms crossed, looking more annoyed than ashamed. Kaylee was on the far end of the room in ripped leggings and an oversized hoodie, scrolling through her phone like this was all an inconvenience. "This is insane," Emily began, pacing. "You used my name, my social security number, my credit. And you never thought to ask?" Her mother followed behind, pleading. "It was just paperwork, Em. We didn't think it would come to this. We thought we could make the payments and refinance it in Kaylee's name later." "But the payments haven't been made, have they?" Emily shot back. "That's why the bank called. You've missed multiple payments, and now they're coming after me." Kaylee finally looked up. "Relax, Em. It's just a loan. It'll get sorted." Emily turned, stunned. "You've ruined my credit. My financial future. Do you even realize what you've done to me?" Kaylee rolled her eyes. "I said I'd pay it back eventually." "Eventually?" Emily laughed bitterly. "You haven't kept a job for more than 6 weeks. You think eventually is a strategy?" Her father stood up, voice raised. "That's enough. You don't talk to your sister like that in this house." "No," Emily said, standing her ground. "You don't talk to me like that. I'm the one you lied to. The one you stole from. You forged my name, forged my future, for her." Her mother stepped between them. "We didn't think it would hurt you. You're doing so well, you wouldn't even notice." "That's the problem," Emily said coldly. "You thought just because I've worked hard and stayed out of trouble, that makes me a safety net for everyone else's failures." Tears welled in her mother's eyes. "We were desperate. The bank wouldn't approve Kaylee, and she had nowhere else to go. We didn't want her to end up homeless. So you gambled with my life instead." The room went quiet. Emily's voice dropped to a near whisper. "I talked to a lawyer." That got everyone's attention. Her father's face tightened. "What?" "I'm filing a police report. I'm also notifying the bank and freezing all my credit accounts. What you did was identity theft. Fraud. I could press charges. You're going to destroy this family over a house?" Her mother whispered. "No," Emily said. "You already did that." She walked toward the door, then stopped. "One more thing," she said, looking directly at Kaylee. "I'm not your backup plan. I'm not your co-signer. I'm not your savior. From now on, you're on your own." And then she left, not just the house, but the illusion that family always means loyalty. Because some lines, once crossed, don't lead back home. The next morning, Emily sat in the corner booth of a quiet cafe, her laptop open, a manila folder stuffed with printed emails and bank correspondence resting beside her half-drunk latte. She hadn't slept. Her eyes were bloodshot, her brain pulsing with anxiety and determination. She clicked through her inbox, locating the email from First Union Bank's fraud department. The words, "official dispute process," glared back at her like a lifeline. She uploaded her affidavit, attaching a copy of her driver's license, credit report, and the PDF of her forged signature from the mortgage documents, a shaky, clumsy scrawl that looked nothing like her own. Her lawyer, a blunt but sharp woman named Denise Caldwell, had already walked her through every step. Emily had been terrified at first. Suing her own parents? It felt wrong. But what they did was worse. She hit submit. For a moment, her hand hovered over the keyboard. Then she closed her laptop. It was done. 3 days later, a uniformed officer knocked at the Jameson residence with a subpoena in hand. Emily didn't go with him. Denise advised against it, but she pictured her parents' faces when they saw the official seal, and felt no guilt. That afternoon, Denise called. "Emily, the detective assigned your case. His name's Franklin Rhodes. Smart guy. He's taking this seriously." "What's next?" Emily asked. "Now the ball's in their court. Bank's launching an internal investigation. If they confirm the forgery, and they will, the mortgage will be suspended, and civil charges can follow." Emily nodded slowly. "Will my credit be restored?" "In time," Denise said gently. "But that's secondary right now. The real battle is proving intent. She exhaled shakily. They won't admit anything. Not unless they're forced. They won't have to, Denise said. The paper trail speaks for itself. IP addresses, metadata on the signed PDFs, login timestamps from the mortgage portal. Your mother used her office computer to submit the documents. Emily blinked. They left digital fingerprints. Most fraudsters do. It was surreal, watching her family unravel not in tears and shouting matches, but in spreadsheets and signatures. A week passed. Then another. Emily kept her distance, ignoring calls from her mother, texts from Kaylee, even a guilt-laced email from her dad that began with, "You've made your point." She focused on protecting herself. Changed all her passwords. Froze her credit with all 3 bureaus. Opened a new bank account. It felt like building a fortress after a betrayal from within. One rainy evening, she returned home from work to find a thick envelope wedged in her mailbox. It was from First Union. She opened it slowly, heart pounding. Inside was a formal letter, signed by a compliance officer. The mortgage account had been flagged as fraudulent activity under investigation. Payments were paused. Collections suspended. The bank was cooperating with law enforcement. Her credit report would be adjusted accordingly. For the first time in weeks, Emily let herself cry. Not from panic, from relief. She forwarded the letter to Denise. An hour later, her lawyer called. "This is a big step, Emily. You've taken control. Most people in your position would have just paid the debt or stayed silent." "I couldn't," Emily said. "If I did, it would have happened again. Maybe not to me. Maybe to someone else in the family." Denise paused. "Are you sure you don't want to pursue criminal charges?" Emily stared at the envelope. Her parents had humiliated her. Used her. Betrayed her in a way she couldn't yet find words for. But jail? "I don't know," she said honestly. "Not yet." Later that night, Emily sat alone in her apartment. Rain tapped gently against the window. She thought about her childhood, the cookouts in their backyard, Christmas mornings when Kaylee would sneak into her room at 5 a.m. with candy canes and cartoons. What happened to that family? Maybe it had always been an illusion, held together by duty, not respect. But now, Emily had something she hadn't before: clarity. This wasn't just about the money, or the credit score, or the house. It was about reclaiming her voice, and refusing to be collateral damage in someone else's mess ever again. The court date came on a brisk Monday morning in October. Emily stood in the hallway outside the courtroom, clutching a folder filled with every piece of evidence she and Denise had compiled. She wore a navy blue blazer and low heels, her expression calm, but unshakably firm. Her parents sat at the end of the bench across from her, avoiding her gaze. Her mother's face was pale, fingers twisting a crumpled tissue. Her father looked older than she remembered, the lines around his mouth drawn tight. Kaylee didn't even show up. Emily didn't care. Inside, the hearing was short. The judge reviewed the documents, listened to the investigator's report, and concluded there was sufficient evidence that the mortgage had been fraudulently obtained using Emily's personal information. The bank representative confirmed they would not pursue Emily for repayment. The room fell into a strange silence. Her father tried to speak, something about misunderstanding, family, forgiveness, but the judge cut him off. "This wasn't a misunderstanding," the judge said. "This was a crime." Emily left the courthouse with the weight finally lifted. There would be more steps ahead: cleaning up her credit report, finalizing the paperwork, making sure her name was removed from any other hidden liabilities. But the hardest part was done. She had faced the people who hurt her and didn't flinch. 2 months later, Emily closed on a modest condo on the east side of Portland. Nothing extravagant: 2 bedrooms, a balcony overlooking a park, and most importantly, it was hers. Her name, her money, her terms. She walked through the front door on move-in day carrying a small box labeled "Start Fresh." Inside were a few photos, some notebooks, and a tiny ceramic turtle her grandmother had given her when she was 10. As she unpacked, she found a sealed envelope she didn't recognize. No return address. She opened it carefully. Inside was a handwritten letter, from her mother. Emily. We were wrong. We failed you, and I'm so ashamed. We thought we were helping your sister, but we never should have done it at your expense. I don't expect your forgiveness, but I want you to know that losing your trust has broken something in me I don't know how to fix. Mom. Emily read the letter twice, then folded it up and placed it in a drawer. She didn't cry. She didn't get angry. She just felt done. Thanksgiving came and went. She didn't go home. Denise had invited her to dinner with her family, a warm, boisterous crowd that welcomed her with laughter and pumpkin pie. It wasn't her family, but it felt safe. Real. She started journaling again. She joined a weekend hiking group. She even began mentoring at-risk high school girls through a local nonprofit. It gave her purpose, and reminded her that she wasn't defined by what had been done to her, but by what she chose to do next. One evening, just after New Year's, Kaylee showed up outside her apartment building. Emily saw her through the window, standing by the entrance, unsure. She didn't open the door. Instead, she watched for a while, Kaylee pacing, looking up, then finally walking away. No call. No text. And Emily didn't feel guilty. Her life wasn't perfect. She still had moments of doubt, nights when the betrayal came rushing back like a wave. But each time, she reminded herself, she survived it. She protected herself when no one else would. She reclaimed her identity, literally and figuratively. In a world where people say, family means everything, Emily had learned something different. Family means nothing if it's built on lies. What mattered was truth, self-respect, boundaries. And she would never let anyone take those from her again.